What if I told you your failures are not caused by your enemies, but by your own mouth? Every day, without realizing it, you leak your plans, expose your weaknesses, and hand over your power freely. In a world governed by silent observation and hidden intentions, speaking too much is not honesty, it is self-destruction. Today, you will uncover 10 dangerous situations where your own words betray you, and how, as Niccolò Machiavelli warned centuries ago, the one who cannot control his tongue will never control his destiny. 1. When you reveal your plans too early, there is a peculiar weakness in human nature, a desire to be seen before one has truly become. It is the urge to speak of victory before the battle has even begun, and in that moment your mouth betrays you. When you reveal your plans too early, you are not sharing ambition, you are surrendering control. What was once a private strategy becomes public knowledge. What was once power becomes vulnerability. Understand this clearly. People do not hear your plans with innocent ears. They measure them, they compare them, they react to them. Some will smile while silently competing. Some will encourage you while secretly hoping you fail, and some will do worse. They will obstruct you subtly and strategically. The moment your intentions are known, resistance is born, but the deeper danger is not just external, it is internal. Speaking about your plans gives you a false sense of accomplishment. Your brain confuses expression with execution. You feel productive without having achieved anything, and so you slow down, you relax, you lose the hunger that silence preserves. Machiavellian wisdom teaches this: power grows best in darkness. A seed does not announce itself when it is planted. It grows beneath the surface, unseen, untouched, protected. Only when it becomes strong enough does it break through the ground. You must become like that seed. Move in silence. Let your actions speak when they are irreversible. Let your success be the first announcement, because once your plan is exposed, it is no longer yours alone. 2. When emotion takes control of your tongue, emotion is the crack in the armor, the moment where control is lost and truth escapes without permission. In calm moments, you are calculated. You choose your words carefully. You understand the weight of what you say. But in anger, in excitement, in frustration, you become careless, and your mouth becomes a weapon turned against yourself. Anger is the most dangerous of these states. It convinces you that honesty in the moment is strength. But what you call honesty is often uncontrolled exposure. You reveal grudges. You expose insecurities. You say things that others were never meant to know, and once spoken they cannot be taken back. The listener does not forget. They store your words, not emotionally but strategically. They now understand what triggers you. They know what hurts you. They know where you are weak, and one day, when it benefits them, they will use it. Even excitement can betray you. In moments of joy, you reveal too much. You trust too quickly, you lower your guard, and the observant are always watching. Machiavelli understood this well. A ruler must appear composed, even when he is not, because control of expression is control of perception. The one who cannot control his emotions cannot control his outcomes. True power is not the absence of emotion. It is the mastery of it. To feel but not reveal, to react but not expose, because the moment your emotions speak for you, your strategy is no longer yours. 3. When you try to impress others, there is a silent desperation in those who try too hard to impress. It reveals itself not in actions but in words. The need to be admired, to be validated, to be seen as important pushes a man to speak beyond necessity. And in doing so, he diminishes himself. When you try to impress others, you begin to over-explain. You add unnecessary details. You exaggerate your achievements, not because they are real, but because you want them to appear real. And people notice, not consciously but instinctively, because true power does not announce itself. It does not seek approval. It exists quietly, confidently. The more you speak to prove your worth, the more you suggest that it is not already evident. This is the paradox of power. Those who have it do not need to display it, and those who display it excessively often do not have it. Machiavellian thinking teaches restraint. Let others wonder about you. Let them question your depth, your capability, your influence. Mystery creates intrigue, and intrigue creates respect. But when you reveal everything, there is nothing left to discover. And what is fully understood is easily dismissed. The powerful man speaks less, but every word carries weight. The weak man speaks more, but his words carry nothing. In your attempt to impress, your mouth betrays your insecurity. For, when you share your weaknesses too soon, vulnerability is often praised, but in the wrong environment, it is a liability. When you share your weaknesses too soon, you are not building connection, you are exposing your defenses. Trust is not given, it is earned. Yet many speak of their fears, their insecurities, their struggles to those who have done nothing to deserve that truth. And this is where betrayal begins, because not everyone who listens cares. Some listen to understand you. Others listen to use you. Your fears reveal your pressure points. Your insecurities reveal your doubts. Your struggles reveal where you can be broken, and the wrong person will remember all of it, not for empathy, but for opportunity. Machiavelli did not believe in blind trust. He understood that humans are driven by self-interest, and when self-interest conflicts with loyalty disappears. This does not mean you must become cold or distant. It means you must become selective, reveal slowly, test consistently, trust carefully, because once your weakness is known, it cannot be unknown, and in the wrong hands, it becomes a weapon you gave away willingly. 5. When you correct others publicly, there is a subtle form of arrogance disguised as intelligence. It appears when you feel the need to correct someone, not in private, but in front of others. In that moment, your intention may seem justified. You believe you are defending truth, asserting accuracy, proving competence. But beneath that surface, something far more dangerous is unfolding. You are wounding pride, and pride is not a minor thing. It is one of the strongest forces that governs human behavior. When you correct someone publicly, you do not merely challenge their words, you challenge their status. You expose them, you make them feel small, you strip them of dignity in the eyes of others, and while they may nod or even accept your correction outwardly, internally, something changes. Respect turns into resentment. Agreement turns into silent opposition, because people rarely forgive those who embarrass them. Machiavellian thinking understands this deeply. It is better to let a man save his face than to prove him wrong. For influence is not built on truth alone. It is built on emotional control. A man who feels respected is easier to guide. A man who feels humiliated becomes unpredictable. Your words may win the moment, but they lose the person. And in the long game of power, people matter more than points. The wise correct quietly, the foolish correct loudly. And in doing so, your mouth creates enemies you never needed. 6. When silence would have protected you, there are moments in life where silence is not weakness but absolute control. Moments where saying nothing protects everything, but most people cannot endure silence. Their ego demands response. Their pride demands defense. Their emotions demand expression, and so they speak. They explain themselves unnecessarily. They defend accusations that needed no answer. They react to provocations designed to expose them, and in doing so, they reveal everything. Silence is uncomfortable because it creates uncertainty, and uncertainty is power. When you remain silent, others are forced to think. They question your intentions. They doubt their assumptions. But the moment you speak, you remove that uncertainty. You give clarity where confusion once protected you. Machiavelli understood that power often lies not in action, but in restraint. A ruler who reacts to every insult appears weak. A ruler who remains silent appears untouchable, because silence sends a message: I am not affected. And that message is more powerful than any defense. When you speak too quickly, you give others insight into your thoughts, your emotions, your position. But when you remain silent, you give them nothing, and nothing is impossible to manipulate. In many situations, your words are not needed. Only your presence, your stillness, your restraint. Because the truth is, what you don't say often protects you more than what you do. 7. When you break, your own image power is not only built through actions, it is built through perception. The image you create becomes the lens through which others see you. Strong, disciplined, controlled, strategic, but this image is fragile, not because it is false, but because it depends on consistency. And consistency is easily broken. One careless statement, one emotional reaction, one moment of contradiction, and suddenly the image begins to crack. People start to question you. Is he really as composed as he seemed? Is she truly as confident as she appeared? A doubt enters their mind, and once doubt exists, authority weakens. Your mouth is often the cause of this collapse. You say something that does not align with your persona. You reveal an insecurity you once hid. You contradict a belief you once defended. And in that moment, you become unpredictable. Machiavellian philosophy emphasizes the importance of appearance. Not because reality does not matter, but because perception shapes reality. If people believe you are strong, you are treated as strong. If they believe you are uncertain, they treat you accordingly, and your words are the fastest way to change that belief. The disciplined individual understands this. Every word must align with the image you wish to maintain, because building an image takes time, but destroying it takes seconds, and often it is your own voice that destroys it. 8. When you speak negatively about others, there is a quiet danger in speaking ill of others. At first, it feels harmless. A comment here, a criticism there, a piece of gossip shared in confidence. But every word you speak about someone else reveals something about you, not them. When you criticize others, people listen carefully, not to agree but to observe. They are not only hearing your words, they are analyzing your character. They ask themselves, if he speaks this way about them, what does he say about me when I am not present? And in that question, trust begins to erode. Machiavelli understood that reputation is everything. A man who cannot control his speech cannot control how he is perceived. And perception is power. Speaking negatively about others creates short-term bonding but long-term distrust. People may laugh with you, but they will not trust you, because they know your loyalty is conditional. And conditional loyalty is no loyalty at all. The powerful individual speaks carefully. They do not waste words on tearing others down. They understand that silence is often more dignified than criticism, because every unnecessary word is a risk. And in trying to diminish others, your mouth diminishes you. 9. When you are pressured to speak, pressure reveals truth. Not because truth desires to be known, but because control begins to weaken. When you are questioned, challenged, cornered, your mind races. You feel the need to respond, to explain, to defend, and in that urgency you begin to speak more than you should. You reveal details you intended to hide. You expose thoughts you had not planned to share, because pressure disrupts discipline. And discipline is what keeps power intact. Machiavelli observed that those who cannot withstand pressure cannot maintain authority. Because authority is constantly tested, people will provoke you, they will question you, they will push you to react. Not always openly, but subtly, and in those moments your response determines everything. The weak speak quickly. The strong pause, they think, they measure. They respond only when necessary, because they understand not every question deserves an answer. Not every challenge deserves a reaction. Sometimes the best response is controlled silence, because once you speak under pressure, you are no longer in control. The situation is 10. When you fear silence, silence is one of the most misunderstood forms of power. To the untrained mind, it feels uncomfortable, awkward, heavy. It creates a void, and most people rush to fill it. With words, with explanations, with unnecessary noise, but in that rush they expose themselves. They reveal their thoughts, their intentions, their insecurities. Not because they must, but because they cannot tolerate silence. This is where the mouth betrays most easily, because the fear of silence is the fear of being unseen, unacknowledged, unimportant. So you speak to prove your presence. But power does not need constant expression. Machiavellian wisdom teaches that silence creates tension, and tension creates control. When you are silent, others become aware of you. They begin to wonder, what is he thinking? Why is she not speaking? And in that wondering, you gain psychological advantage. But when you speak unnecessarily, you remove that advantage. You become predictable, readable, ordinary. The powerful are comfortable in silence because they understand its value. They do not speak to fill space. They speak to create impact. And when they do speak, their words matter, because they are rare. In the end, the man who fears silence will always be controlled by his need to speak. And the man who masters silence will always control the room. Final thought, as written in The Prince: power is not merely in what you do, but in what you allow others to see and hear. Control your mouth, and you control your image, your influence, your destiny. Fail to do so, and your own words will become the architect of your downfall. In the end, power is not lost in grand battles. It is lost in small, careless moments. A word spoken too soon, a truth revealed too freely, a reaction given without thought. These are the silent ways a man destroys himself. You may spend years building strength, discipline, influence, but your mouth can dismantle it all in seconds. This is the warning echoed through the teachings of Niccolò Machiavelli, that control is not merely about what you do, but about what you choose not to say. Because every word carries weight, it shapes how others see you. It reveals what others should never know. It exposes intentions that were meant to remain hidden. and once released into the world, it no longer belongs to you. It belongs to those who hear it, interpret it, and use it. Understand this clearly. Not everyone is your ally. Not everyone deserves your truth, and not every moment requires your voice. The world is not governed by honesty alone, but by perception, strategy, and restraint. The wise man observes more than he speaks. He listens more than he reveals. He understands that silence is not emptiness, it is control. Because in silence there is mystery, in mystery there is power, and in power there is protection. So before you speak, pause, measure your words, question your intention, ask yourself, does this serve me or expose me? Because the difference between a man who rises and a man who falls is often nothing more than a single sentence spoken at the wrong time. In a world where most people cannot control their tongue, the one who can becomes untouchable. So master your speech, embrace silence, and let your actions speak only when they are impossible to ignore. Because, in the end, it is not your enemies who defeat you, it is the words you could not hold back.